Alright, everybody calm down. The robots are not going to take your job. When it comes to video games, the number one thing is to get something out the door that works, that people like, that people expect, all of that. And to rely on a machine to do that is a little unrealistic. AI can do a lot of things. In the end, it's going to serve us as a tool and kind of nothing more. Maybe we'll get to a point where we can use it to do the job that whole teams of people do. In the end, I think we're reaching diminishing returns on that. So just to give kind of a monetary perspective, you would think efficiency is the name of the game. In reality, the thing is that somebody needs to put the game out, somebody needs to sell the game, and we need to make money off of it. So in terms of money, let's just give an example. JetBlue, an airline, they wanted to buy another airline, right? Spirit Airlines. They made an offer to buy that airline for $3.8 billion, which is a lot of money. It's more money than I might see in my life. I don't know. That's the offer that they made. This is for a commercial airline. Passenger jets, 747s or 767s, whatever 7 is out at the moment that Boeing is putting out. But either way, that was the money that was on the line for that kind of thing. I don't think that deal went through, but that was the offer, right? In contrast, Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, and their offer was $68.7 billion or somewhere in that ballpark. I'm gonna try to put the real amount on the screen. That's a lot more than another passenger airline was willing to spend on another passenger airline, just to give you perspective on how much money video games can generate. But in order for them to generate that kind of cash, they need to work, right? And in order for them to work, they need people to do the testing to make sure the quality bar that they said is met. It's not just that your favorite character is balanced correctly, or that you're going to get an important thing taken away on what the Ethereum guy's issue was. But it's not just that we're changing the games that you love. We are a non-life threatening software, meaning like the things we check, it isn't a life support machine, it isn't a jet engine, computer. It's a video game. Things kind of get tested accordingly. The biggest thing that people care about, does the game boot? Right? Does the menu function? Does the tutorial tell you what you need to know, right? All the basic stuff that you kind of take for granted, all that stuff has to work. If you're going to put a product for sale, it looks really bad when none of that works just out the gate. The developers make the best game that they know how to make, and we test it according to their vision, and we all try to put a great product out there. And that's really all this is about, is product development, selling the product, getting the best thing we can out the door. So in the old days, you used to be able to put the game in the console. You used to be able to get your playtime in, beat Banjo-Kazooie however many times you wanted, go through the game, speed run it, take the cartridge out, or if you're a PlayStation person like myself, you would take the disc out and it would be done, right? You can turn the game off whenever you want. Today, games don't ever end. They're run on a server, you can get online with your friends, there usually is always someone there to play. Because of that, we have to constantly test new updates, constantly test the game, make sure that it stands up to scrutiny, it stands up to whatever the player may or may not do. We don't know what you're going to do. We can only test what the game allows you to do, and if you find a unique way to play the game that we didn't think of, that means you're really thinking outside the box. But 9 times out of 10, if you find a bug, especially one that might be obvious, we might already know about it, and it may just not be that hardcore of a bug to fix. That brings me to my next point, which is the amount of things that could be broken in any kind of software, not just game, but while we're making it, there's so many things that could go wrong in a menu, in playing the actual game, in a mode. If those issues arise, we need to know about it. We need to document it. We need to convey that to developers, and then that's how they know to fix things. But we have to go through parts of the game in kind of test cases. These test cases, think of them as instructions. How do you test the game to make sure that we are going through the optimal way to find as many bugs as possible? Because that's the end goal. You write a lot of bugs, you make sure that the software is getting fixed, all of that. With that, we get into a lot of project management terms. You may or may not have already heard about Agile. You may have already heard about waterfall. These are methodologies not just for QA, but for a lot of like production type things in software. You can use them outside their testing methodologies as far as I know them. Essentially, Agile is like the developer will make a build of the game. We get said build, we bug it, right? We find all the issues, we return those bugs to the developer, they keep developing, and eventually we start getting into beta tests, it gets into your hands as the consumer, they find issues out in the wild. It's a constant cycle. It's probably one of the best ways we know how to get the job done and get the best product out today. Next, you don't really hear about this a whole lot in the games industry anymore, is waterfall. Waterfall is usually more of like a life-dependent kind of technology, like sending someone to the moon or something, where basically you have a plan of development and you go all the way to the end, and then you may do some testing. It's very expensive, it's very calculated, you have to plan everything to a T, and when you get to the end, that's when you can do some testing, but it's very hard to go back and start over. It's very expensive, so you have to kind of get things right in the beginning as much as possible, so that by the time you get to the end, everything's airtight and you can utilize the end product. We don't do that in the industry, or at least we say we don't. In some projects, the money that gets backed on them kind of can turn into that. By and large, we're using Agile. That's kind of the state of things. I don't think an AI can do that, and I don't think that we're gonna be able to just turn to a machine, delegate tasks like that, especially if you're testing for players, for, like yourselves, if you're testing for things that only humans like, right? Our point of view. There's only so many things that a machine can gain or learn from us before it just starts making incorrect guesses. So I don't think QA is in any danger. I think it does serve you if you decide to learn AI and learn how to like prompt and use within your job and the scope of your job. But overall, I think QA on its own is fine. I think developing for, by humans is gonna be okay. At the end of the day, that's how I feel about that. You can breathe a sigh of relief. Alright guys, that's it. That's my spiel for the day. I just needed to get that out of my system. If you're trying to get into the industry, give you a sigh of relief that there's still going to be a job for you if you're trying to get into that entry-level QA position, that I think everything's going to be okay for you. Now, if you need any more guidance on this, if you want to kind of get on the ground floor early to get your career going in the right direction, or you're just starting and you want to know some terms and processes, I've partnered up with Pact Publishing. They make really good textbooks on a lot of the subjects about games, and they have given me a book to review. It's called Modern Game Testing by Nikolina, Finska. I apologize if I have butchered your name in any way. It is a good book though. There isn't a whole lot of books on game QA in particular. Not a lot of books on covering how we do the processes in the industry. This will give you a lot of the dynamic problem-solving skills that you need to kind of do this industry. It isn't just go in there, you get on a keyboard or pick up a controller and you start playing and then that's it. There's method to this madness. There's test cases, tasks that you have to run, how you write a bug, how you keep track of all your bugs that you've had, looking into the databases, software like Jira, Azure DevOps, but it covers all of that. It's a book that like I definitely recommend to a lot of my colleagues, especially getting like that are in the industry and they want to get to that next level. It definitely delivers on a lot of the information that you may be looking for or you maybe didn't know about. Either way, that's my spiel. Like, comment, subscribe, eat something good tonight, drink water, it's really hot out, and I will see you guys next video. We're gonna get back into developing. Peace.